The saying, if you can make it in Philly, you can make it anywhere, is 100% true. A young man with a promising future was on the path to making it out, but tragedy struck. Alex Fernandez, also known as Kodak Times, was an up and coming rapper with a bright future ahead of him until his life was cut short due to senseless gun violence. This documentary is a small reflection of his life and hopefully will change someone else's life for the better. This is a journey through life. This is the Kodak Times documentary.
Hi, my name is Eva and I'm Alex's mom. I'm originally from New York. That's where I was born, but we were kind of tossed back and forth between Puerto Rico and New York, and then finally here in Philadelphia. I was dealing with his father off and on, but I was, young. I think I knew the first time I got pregnant, something just wasn't, something didn't feel right. So I took the test and it came out positive, and his father was like, "Oh my God, we're having this kid." Yep. The day he was born, he was a big child. He almost killed me. Happy moments though, because I was a young mom without an education, and I knew once he fell on my lap that my life had to change. I had to be somebody because I had the responsibility of raising somebody. He had a head full of hair, long lashes. He looked like a little Chinese baby, and I was just so in love. I was in love with my child. I always have been.
My name is Joanna, and I am Alex's cousin. I'm older than Alex is by a few years, actually. So I met Alex when he was born, the day he came home from the hospital. We actually all lived with my grandmom at the time, my mom and my aunt. So yeah, we were raised together at the house for a good amount of time.
Yeah, my name is Carlos Rivera. I'm Alex Fernandez's oldest cousin. The first memory would be when my aunt brought him back from the hospital. I mean, that'll probably be one of the first memories, I guess. I mean, I have so many memories with Alex, being as though we basically grew up together. His mother and my mother were our sisters, so they lived under the same roof most of his life. So for the most part, I've been there through everything, puberty, all that.
I'm John. I'm Kodak's older cousin biologically, but you can might as well call us brothers, all of us.
I'm Josh. I'm also Kodak's older cousin. More like a brother to us, though. My first memory of Alex is me doing what we used to call like the helicopter with him. I would like lay on the ground and like I would like pick him up, and like with my feet I would like kick him up, and he would just die laughing. He loved that type of stuff. That's my first memory. That's my fondest memory. That's probably my favorite memory of my cousin.
My memory it goes way back to probably when I was like 5 years old, and I just remember him being this little thing, just this little person, and him walking around the house, and then I tried to help his mom change his Pampers. And this was back on Howard Street, I believe, when Grandmom used to live on Howard Street, when there was no laptops back in the day. We had desktop computers and everything. So I'd be like 5 years old. I don't know if he was, like 2 maybe. Be running around the house, and we'll be on the computer playing pinball together. That was our favorite game. So, I mean, I just remember them times when he was little now as being like, I cherish that probably the most, because I remember that.
As funny as this is, the first time I seen Alex, it was because me and Markel got in a little altercation. We was at the park, whatever. Markel was a little huskier than me. I'm scrawny, as y'all can see, kind of. He pushed me, so I pushed him back. I kicked him in his balls, and I ran. Next thing I know, he called all his cousins, and Alex came down. And like I said, it was weird because we was all supposed to beef and all that, but we just clicked out like, oh, all right, like it's just dead. Like it's just, I'll never forget that.
He grew up with a lot of labels, like it started off when he was about 5 years old, ADHD, and then it kind of like trickled down to other things, oppositional defiance disorder, and a whole slew of just names that they they gave him in school. So I returned to school to understand all of that. First time I saw him medicated, I couldn't take it. So I wanted to deal with him my way.
My experience in growing up with Alex, Alex was a tough kid. Tough kid to grow up. He was much like myself in that aspect. We both had like ADHD. We both was like something crazy to deal with around the house. So I would try to back my aunt up, because my aunt is really like my big sister for real. So any issues that she would have with Alex, I would take her side, and me and him would be rubbing shoulders the wrong way growing up until he got, a little bit older, and then he seen and he understood what was going on there.
Oh, my sister she still is, she's the head of the family, so we all kind of go to her when we need some good advice, and we all respect her that way. And my son felt like she was his mother,
Hi, my name is Eva, and I was Alex's aunt. Alex was more like a son to me. He had the utmost respect for me. So I always treated him more like a son, more than a nephew. When he was little, growing up, he was a little tough little boy. But he was so loving. So hard.
He went to about 12 different schools during that age, while I was fighting the school system to get him help, because I didn't want to keep him on medication for ADHD, because I knew that he just needed a little bit better attention from different teachers, a different setting. For a while, Alex was the only child in his class sitting on a bouncing ball while he was doing his work. But I fought for that. I had a lot of help from my sisters, people giving me good advice, and just fighting the system, because ultimately I feel like they'll keep them, even if they're intelligent kids, they'll keep them in a certain category. And I knew Alex had a whole lot more to give. I set up a whole bedroom. He had a classroom, he had a computer. I was at that time studying, taking up a course in psychology, so I was on one side of the room and he was on the other, being taught by a teacher with cameras. And of course I had to help him with his math classes and all that stuff, but for the most part it was him and computers and settings, cameras and things like that. He didn't like it, of course. He wanted to go back to school, so I gave him that opportunity, and after that I was sitting behind the class because I gave him a chance. But that's what he wanted. He didn't want to be a weirdo or be different than anybody else, and I knew that me taking him out of that situation, would place him in a weird situation with his peers. So I said, back to school you go. And it was difficult. It was hard. Probably why he's my only child. He's a boy. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in Philadelphia that you don't want your kids getting involved in. So and he had all the issues that he had coming up. So I wanted to focus on him. I think Alex's father moved away when he was about maybe 9 years old. And Lenny stayed behind, and he had a bunch of boys. So anytime it was fishing trips or I'm taking the boys to, to parks or whatever, Alex was tagging along with him. So in that respect, he was very much present in his life.
All right, my name is Len Fernandez. I'm Alex's uncle. Well, at any moment he can call and he knows he has an answer. I always try to bring a positive outlook in life, and he always followed a lot what I had to say. And I really appreciated it.
Growing up, me being strict and always having my foot on his neck, so to speak, he was a boy, and he was a big boy at that.
I'm Alex Noel. I'm a friend of the family's. I've known Alex since he was 8. It was a battle. It was a battle because, his mom was a single mom. And he wasn't a bad kid, but he always knew what he wanted to do. He always knew what he wanted to do, and nobody could stop him. And, it was never bad things because he was always a go-getter. He knew what he wanted, and he did it. And that was, you really couldn't say much. He did exactly what he said he was going to do.
So I didn't want him involved, and sometimes at 14, 15, you're like, where's my child? Oh, he's at this party and he ain't supposed to be? Let's go. So all of that. But then when he became a parent, he was just like, thank you, Mom, because that's how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be, you know, not as strict as me, because he had girls and they would probably walk all over him. But he always said, I know how to do certain things because you were the way you were with me.
My name is Yadalise, and I was Alex's first baby mom. We met in school, 1 by Ray, 2018, I believe. We started off as friends, good friends, and yeah, then one thing led to another, and we never were really in a relationship though, because I had just got out of a relationship, so it was more like a good friendship.
Yeah. My name is Nadia Sanchez. I am Alex's fiance and the mother to his child, his youngest child, Soraya Fernandez. He was very persistent. Like, he was always like continuously like writing to me, like trying to see me. And then one day, like late, he wrote to me and he was like, meet me outside at Checkers. And I'm like, it's late, like, I'm not into all that. And he was like, okay. He was like, well, I'm really trying to see you. Like, I want to see you. And I was like, okay. So I met him at Checkers, and then when we met at Checkers, we stood up till like 8, 9 in the morning. And we just spent every single day together since.
Describing Kodak, man. If I could describe Kodak, words wouldn't be enough to describe the kind of person he was, to be honest with you. You know, every time, you know, he stepped in the room, it was like, it was a light, you know what I'm saying? It was all, the energy always, you know, came out. It was all positive energy. Like, he definitely was a star in the room whenever he stepped in. Like, he made his presence well known.
Ambitious, spontaneous, great personality, sometimes short-fused, but, you know, that comes with his surroundings. You know, he was able to carry himself in a nature that was respectful.
I would describe him as one of the most truest to character, open-minded, open character. Like, I've never met somebody so open. Like, he's had the biggest influence on my character more than like almost anybody else ever in my life. Like, I used to be like real stuck up and stuff like that, and like and I would push people away, and he taught me how to be open. Like, he taught me like everybody ain't against me. You know what I'm saying? And like everybody different, like, and we all come from different environments. Like, he straight tell me like, yo, I ain't no good. Like, RIP my man Kodak, but like if he was here, like he used to tell people around him, yo, Sav, what you call me? Like, I used to be like, yo, you was a weirdo. Like, cause like to me, like where I come from, what I'm used to, things I've been through, like that was foreign to me. His character was like foreign, like somebody just so open and just happy, and you know, like, but anywhere he went though, he brought light. He brought like, you could be, no matter who you was, like there's no way, you might think he a little bit annoying in the beginning, but it's impossible. Like, he make you like him. Like, he make you like him. You don't have a choice.
Kodak was kind, genuine. Speaking on what he just said, when I was pregnant, I used to be just so stubborn and so moody, and he'll just come around and just knock it right out. He just couldn't stay mad around like at all.
He was the most genuine person ever. He was always funny. He put smiles on everybody's face. He loved his kids dearly. I can't really get into full depth about it because I don't want to cry, but he was just Alex. He was just a person that was like never here before, and God just took him away.
Genuine. It's like you don't really meet people like that. You don't really meet people like him. Like, he just genuine. He was just full of love. He was a happy person. He was honest. He was always himself. I never seen him be someone he wasn't.
He was funny. He was goofy, which is one of the reasons that we got along so well. I'm, you know, a jokester, and so he was really funny. He was also just a big teddy bear. Like, he was just one of the sweetest people ever. He had a really big heart.
He was hilarious.
He's a goofball. He was real humble. Humble to the point of like, a lot of people take advantage, you know what I mean? But he was really genuine and motivated.
You talking about the funny guy, the bid on anybody, the relaxed, the musician, the great father. That's just the least you can speak about my boy Alex. You know, he always been funny though. I can say that we always been having jokes since we was kids. Cause I remember them days at the park where we was just going back and forth. This is before he had the long hair. He had a short haircut. I probably didn't even know that. We had a short haircut. This was way back in the day. He used to come down and we used to just we used to just joke, do everything for real.
Kodak, his energy crazy. Like always a happy person, never negative, never on no type time, never no scheme, none of that. Like the crazy part is like they really say the good die young, and that shit's really crazy because I'm losing too many friends out here. That shit, just Philly streets is crazy.
He dictated the energy in the room when he walked in. When he walked in, it was smiles, hugs, kisses, everything. Don't matter if these people was arguing, don't matter if these people was, you know. I get emotional because Alex was really, you know what I mean? He was really a light, you know what I mean?
Funny, spontaneous, very, very, very flamboyant. You know, like, you're gonna know who Alex is. When he walks in the room, you know who he is. Just based on his appearance alone. He's gonna come in wild hair, bag over his arm, you know, and everyone's gonna look and be like, who's that kid? You know, and that's kind of like the energy that he always had ever since a young buck, since he was young.
Alex was very lovable. Everybody loved him, and he loved everybody. He reminds me of my son. And it's a shame because they were so sweet and so giving and so talented, and to end up this way, it's not fair.
Alex's cousin, Frankie Diaz Jr., was killed in prison on August 19th, 2020. The circumstances around his death are very suspicious, and a lot of sources are saying that a cover-up is involved to protect the prison.
He was incarcerated, waiting for trial. So, according to what they say, he got into a fight with an inmate, and he was found unresponsive, were they saying. On the medical records, he wasn't found unresponsive. He was found without a pulse in the bathroom. We're still going through the court system, through the court, proceedings. I really don't know too much if it's even true or if it was the COs. We really don't know yet. The way they did us with his case, I don't believe that. I don't know what to believe. It could have been the inmate or it could have been the COs. I really don't know. According to them, there was no cameras to really show who did it. And the reason why I tell you that is because it took a month and a couple of protests for them to even move the case forward to homicide. So they were hiding information for a whole month. It wasn't until we did the big protest in Center City that they came up with an inmate. So I really, honestly don't know if it was really the inmate or was it the COs. I really don't know what happened.
He tried to have our backs when it was time for us to give our brother away. He did things. He took my brother away because he knew that we couldn't do it.
Well, we actually, that's probably my and that's probably the story that gives me the most pride. And him, my brother transitioned 6 months before Alex did, and there was nobody in that funeral home, not even the people who were working at the funeral home, that I wanted to handle my brother's body after the funeral. I did it, but I couldn't go to any of my brothers, and I got 5 of them, and I couldn't go to any of them. I only felt comfortable going to Alex. And I said, Alex, cuz you gotta help me carry Rain. You gotta help me carry his body back into the back, because I don't want them just throwing him on there when the medical examiner come to pick him up. And with tears in his goddamn eyes, Alex helped me do it. And I wasn't trusting nobody else. Not to say that I don't trust my little brother or anyone else, but just something in my heart told me it gotta be Alex. It gotta be Kodak.
But it was only right.
And that was, that's probably the most prideful story that I got with him.
Frankie's family is still fighting for justice and have vowed to never stop fighting until the truth comes out. Alex took the death hard, but always kept his positive attitude and kept pushing his dreams to make it in the music industry.
I think as the girls started growing, he started realizing that he still didn't want to be stuck in a 9-to-5. So he started pushing for his music. He would go even harder and spend more time in the studio. And he just wanted what he wanted, and he wanted it for them.
And I can kind of remember when he was really young and he told me like the first time, like, I really think I like singing. Do you think that I could do it? You know, you think I have a voice? And I was like, hey, listen, like, absolutely. You just have to practice and you can do it. And I was just always kind of being that person, like motivating him to pursue that music and, you know, that desire to make it something big.
I'll send him my music, he'll send me his music. You know, we was different. I was more of like a MC rapper, and he was on the new wave, you know. So I was like, wow, you know, I admire his music because he has that young sound. Like maybe it'll help me, you know, maneuver my music, you know. And the same thing, you know, we'll just trade things just back and forth, and just critiquing and everything, and just, you know. And he always soaked it in, and he became great at his music, and everybody knew. Shoot, even the businesses, people try to sign him all that, they knew. That's why they try to get that paperwork straight from him, you know.
I think the first song he wrote, he was like 12 or 13 years old. And he said some very derogatory things about his father. And I was pretty mad about it because, you know, it's not what I wanted him to be like. But, you know, that's how he expressed his feelings. He found a way to express himself, because for a while, he was a little shut down, you know. Emotionally, he was shut down. And then he met Nadia, and these two are one of a kind. So he kind of opened up to her as well, you know.
He always sang about like what went on in his life, like in the studio, and that's what I liked about being in the studio with him. Like, it wasn't fake. It was all about, you know, real life stuff that either went on in his life or other people's lives. Like, that's how he was.
I don't consider Kodak as a rapper. I consider Kodak as an artist. That's how we always refer to each other, because we don't just make music.
Hell of an artist. He wasn't really opposed to try anything musically. Made good music, you know. Still had a little ways to go, but he was well-rounded, you know. He was already there. He was ready.
Microwave music, as we used to call it. We make longevity music. He's so versatile. It's like he has so many points he could touch. He goes from trap to R&B to even touching points that I touch in depression.
Kodak put his life in his music. So when you felt his pain, when he made his song, you feel that. Like he was going through something, you feel it. But he'll still let you know, like, I'm gonna be good, I'm gonna be cool.
Fell in love with the drip and the way that I talked to her. She fell in love with the girls and the way that I walked to her. With them diamonds on my wrist and my wrist really froze up. Say your friends look these famous and they seem to know us. They see their neck in the...
I could tear up to this music. Like, I could really go home and really feel this. I could be in the car and I'm really feeling this. Like, he's writing a book. He's telling you a story. It's crazy.
At first, you know, just like everybody else, they go on YouTube, they find a beat, whatever, they start writing to it and they hop on a booth. It'd be like real simple, but as this time went on, I've watched him grow as an artist. Like I'm one of them, like I said, I recorded label artists too. So I've been in a room with label artists, seen the process, and then to see like independent artists' process. And I just watched how he went from that regular artist to like, okay, bro, now it's time. Like, I need producers, I need cameramen, I need to get my ideas out there, right? And I need help. He knew that, you know, okay, I can't do it all on my own, so I need more creatives around, you know, and that's what I loved about him. So I used to always call my friends, all my producers, people that know play pianos and guitars or whatever for him and all that cool stuff, all the instruments, yo, come through. He used to create vibes with him in the room.
First time I see my son like actually be interested in something, like he was starlit, was when we were stationed in Savannah, Georgia. It was a Halloween, it was like a Halloween party outside. And we didn't know that they covered the thriller dance, whatever, on the street. And Alex saw that and he lit up. And he didn't know the dance, but he sure knew Michael. So he just started dancing, and little by little this crowd was forming around him. And I knew then that's what he was gonna do. He wanted to be a star.
My name is Lay, and I was Kodak's friend. I know that in his music, it's like he knew that he got a lot of hate, and you could hear it in his music, a lot of pain. That was like his only way of being able to express it is through the music. You feel me? So that's a way that we related a lot. And every time we would chill, we would vibe, we would talk about like life. So I feel like he really expresses his heart through his music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, this Hey Headshot. Like music, versatile, very versatile. Like he can give you a little bit of drill, he can give you the streets, but when it comes down to it, he can give you his heart at the same time. He could dig. Not everybody can dig that deep and turn your feelings into a melody. You get what I'm saying? So I always told him, like, you real different, bro. You just gotta really just stay consistent, because that's one thing. He was always consistent behind the scenes, but he always pushed to others more than himself. You get what I'm saying? So he didn't let the world hear him. Only a very select few got to hear him. So it's like, but he mad versatile. Mad versatile.
I will always make videos with his music out somewhere with all my friends and send it to him, and he would be so excited to see that we were listening to his music all over the world, you know?
Kodak's music just is something else. I mean, everybody that worked with him and all the producers and stuff just know the energy, the vibe that he give, and just all the effort and dedication he had. He was dedicated to his family and his music, and that was one of the main important things. Like, you could tell he's dedicated. He wasn't worried about nothing else besides supporting his family and doing his music.
My favorite Kodak video is Love is War. That's my favorite Kodak video. Now, my favorite Kodak song is Big Dog. That he dropped, Big Dog.
My favorite song is Big Dog, like the video and everything, because the video's in our apartment and my cat is in there. And I'm like, how do you make a video in this little apartment? Like, what's wrong with you? And it came out so decent. And then at the end of the song, like, you see the cat walking by, I'm like, dang, you even put the cat in there.
They know I'm a big dog, send me this salute. I just bought a brand new glizzy, I can't wait to shoot. Niggas say they outside, but they
It's hard to choose. It's really 2 songs. To touch back on something I did want y'all to know about Kodak. This guy confidence level was amazing. You know, it didn't matter where he was at, who he was in front of, his confidence level was at an all-time high. And all his music, I never seen Kodak write. I never, ever seen him write. He just fed off of what the beat gave him. Now to the songs that is so many, because we did so many songs together, but not even the one that's together. I feel like Love is War is my favorite song, and I never got to ask him. I wanted to, but you know, I kind of felt like in a way all the music I used to make with him, he used to always ask me why I used to make the music like that. I used to make like really sad music a lot, and I still do. And I told him because we're not aiming for our city, we aiming for the world. That's the thing, Kodak. We aiming for the world. I promise you, always just gotta aim for the world. And you have this voice where you can do that, but just go somewhere else and trust me, it works. Trust me. Then, not for nothing, 3 to 4 weeks later, he sent me a song, Love is War. I said, see, that's what I'm talking about. He was able to still do something that makes you feel good, but also do something that can touch another fan base. Because not for nothing, nowadays the streets just follow popularity. That's all it is. I feel like you gotta attack every fan base, and where your strongest fan base is at, that's where you keep going.
You tried to move on, you cannot move on. You tried to move on, but I held on.
He wanted all of this for them. This was for them. Yeah, they say, Mom, you did a good job with him. He's gonna take care of you and all of that. This was for his girls. He was pushing hard with this music thing because he wanted to give them a better life. He wanted them out of Philadelphia, and he was on his way. He was on his way.
You know what I mean? He always talked about his baby girls. Always came to my studio, showing me pictures and videos, what his girl's been doing and all that, which is cool because I got kids too. So we used to show each other vids of, yo, look at my son doing this. He was like, yo, look at my daughter. He's doing the same thing, So it was like, man, Kodak just needs to be remembered as somebody that was, he was more than a star. He was just like a genuine, young, and loved person. He loved everyone, even people that I've watched use him for studio time. You feel what I'm saying? He wouldn't care. He'd go ahead, bro, let him please help him. Like, hey, he ain't got it. All right, bro. All right, bro. I got you. You know what I mean? So it hurt, man. It hurt seeing him go like that, for sure. The way he went out was corny.
Amazing. At his age, the way that he made sure that his daughters went without, you don't see that shit, man. I got brothers. My brothers don't even do that. My brothers are 10 years older than him, and they didn't do that. Alex was 21 years old and made sure his girls, it was always about his girls. He made sure they had whatever they needed, whenever they needed it. He was a great father.
Seeing him mature. When he had his first daughter and he came to my house when we were talking, and the way he was talking, I'm like, yes, he's growing up. How much he appreciates his mom and us and knowing everything that we go through to get life. That's one of my favorites, as I knew, damn, he's growing up.
Alex would want to be remembered as a great father first, and of course a great man right after that. And the best thing to kind of, never really happened as far as musically, people are gonna see that as people click, people are gonna gain these, the people are gonna start to realize who he is, and as they see that, they're like, wow, they're gonna look at him like how we look at speaker knockers, or how we look at any of these other dudes who passed, who didn't get their shine at that time. But as the music travels through wherever it travels through, it's gonna gain its own fan base.
Daughter and my daughter, like that's what that, we connected more with that, with the daughter situation. But having a daughter, it's a blessing. We always link with that.
I think he would want to be remembered as a father. I know that's probably a cliche thing, but I also know how much he valued that once he got that. He would definitely want to be remembered as a father first, as a brother, and just all around family member second, and then music and everything else comes after that. He would definitely want to be remembered as a great father.
People do it just to get a name and all that, but he want to take care of his kids.
That he was trying to make it out for all of us. He was trying to make a way for her.
Becoming a dad changed Alex's life forever, especially being a girl dad. There's nothing in the world that Alex wouldn't do for his kids.
Alex was a great dad. He was always he was there all the time. Don't get me started on the poopy diapers, because Alex wasn't into all that. Like, his stomach was so weak, like he would feel like he had to vomit with the poopy diapers. But other than that, like with the feeding and always playing with her and being there with her and Ava consistently. But he was so hardworking. So like sometimes me and Ava's mom would always like be upset because he was so into working and being in the studio and becoming something big for his family, and sometimes we never understood that, and now we understand, like he was working hard to be everything he could for his family. He wanted everybody to win, and we just had to understand that in order to win you gotta put the work in.
He was actually facing a lot of issues that I never really knew about until he died. I feel like I gave him a hard time, and I was always so hard on him, but he had his own problems and issues that he never spoke about. So I guess he just bottled up everything. He was really good to hide his feelings and emotions.
I really do feel like Alex was like a blessing to everybody. Like God really sent everybody an angel, and he changed everybody's life in so many ways, and he was broken himself.
The Friday before he passed, called him to ask him about his trip, how he was doing. He had just came back from Atlanta. He was in Miami the week before, and he was excited to tell me that he was officially going to be signed soon. And that was the last time I spoke to him over the phone.
I saw him maybe 4 days before it happened. I think he came briefly through, and I was cooking, and he ate and he left. And then he was having some issues with his car, and I wanted to help him, so I bought the parts for the car, whatever. But I had this really bad feeling, and I kept telling him, Alex, the things that you're doing to get money and stuff like that. He's like, what am I doing, Mom? I'm around my friends, and I was just like, somebody's gonna hurt you out there because you're not a street guy. And he's like, I know how to defend myself. What you think I'm 6'2" for? That type of thing. But I just felt like something bad was coming. So that was the day before everything happened.
This is my husband, Yancey, and we've been on the front line, and most of you know my son, Dante Johnson, stood on the front line for the last 10 years. My son, Dante, went to California on March 5th on the weekend trip. And he went into Compton because somebody wanted fish. And my son didn't even eat seafood. And somebody pulled up because it was a crowd and shot into the crowd and shot 4 people. My son was the only fatality. They put a bullet in my son's right eye.
I just think we need to occupy more of our time. You know what I mean? I think maybe time, because I was thinking as driving here actually, I was thinking if a lot of people use drugs because they're bored. A lot of people get into dumb shit because they're bored. So if you take your same energy that you want to go do this or do that, and you take your ass to school and you go to work or you a trade, if you don't have enough time during the day to do dumb shit, then you're going to be occupied on doing positive shit.
It was more important because I got kids of my own, and I got my daughter right here with me too. Because I want her to be a part of it because it starts with them. So to me, and it's like the way that the world is going right now, it's kind of crazy.
And focus on the community to be able to know when I reach out to him to help bring these great people in the community, these senators, these state reps out here. And I just want to say I thank you. I really, really thank you a lot. And I really mean a lot.
Aunt Brown, Philadelphia Youth Engagement Strategist. It's important because, the gun violence that's going on in the city is really out of control. And I felt like there's a lack of connection between the people that's doing this work and those who's really influential amongst who have the influence of the culture. And when Stiz brought this idea and said this is what he putting together, I had no choice but to jump all the way on it because I'm truly passionate about this. We need more love. We need more black men in schools. Like I always, like my activism is more so in schools with the youth, and I feel like that's a more important spot where they're developing. And I think that's where a lot of these behaviors are carried from in school. They're carried outside.
An elected official and a politician. That means we create policy for individuals to make sure that they're safe. But why I get excited is the fact that I'm sitting in a black-owned, black-managed building that's in our district. I'm gonna say that again, and y'all think y'all heard me.
Thank you, Aunt. Fight life, rap, my bad. All the young people, this is about y'all. This is for y'all. Young people, I see how energetic you are, and how you were paying attention. But when I look at each and every last one of you, I see future leaders. Do y'all see future leaders?
The last time I saw Alex was right before he died. Him and Nadia had a Halloween party, and me and my boyfriend went. And I didn't even get to say goodbye. That's how drunk we were.
He was so excited about how he was gonna sign to this label and how everything was gonna be good and that I wasn't gonna be in the house with the baby all the time no more. And that all his hard work was gonna pay off. And, you know, I think he just got lost in his conversation and he still took that drive even though all these signs kept telling him to turn back, you know?
February 4th, 2021, Alex was tragically shot and killed. Alex's girlfriend and baby mother, Nanya, was actually with him when he was killed. She was strong enough to talk in detail about exactly what happened that night.
Well, he was supposed to go meet somebody. I personally don't really know who he was going to meet. He said he knew him, or his friend knew him, and he was going to pick something up. And when we got there, you know, we pulled up, and I had told him, I was like, you know, we're pulling up to a spot that you don't know these people. He was like, no, my friend know them. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah. And when we pulled up, he was like, I mean, the neighborhood looks nice. I'm like, yeah, it do. Like, it's nice. There's a lot of street lights, nice houses. And, you know, he called the guy to come outside, and the guy was like, come through the back. And he was like, no, like, I don't feel like driving back there. I'm gonna just stay out here. And we waited like not even a minute, and Alex like went to pull off. And when he pulled off, he seen the guys like walking up the block. And when he stopped, the guys walked to the car, and he was like, Alex asked him, he was like, let me see. And when they showed Alex, I'm sorry, every time I talk about this story, I get tripped up in my words. When they seen Alex, like, I don't know what happened. I couldn't really see. I think they were like, it was a transaction that was supposed to be made. I don't know. And all I heard was like, Alex say, this isn't that. And when he went to drive off, he put the car in gas, and he went to, like, he looked nervous, and he went to pull off fast. And then I was like, wait, what? And then, like, the bull just started shooting, and I was so confused. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Wait. And he didn't stop shooting. And then when Alex took all them bullets, he just looked at me, and he pulled off. Like, he pulled off as fast as he could, and he used whatever, you know, energy he had left to, you know, drive as far as he could, because he looked at me and he was like, babe, they shot me. And I was like, no, they didn't. Like, I couldn't believe that I didn't even get shot. Like, and he was like, babe, I'm sorry, they shot me. And he let go of the wheel, and the car had crashed. And I didn't want to believe it. So I just like grabbed him, and I opened his jacket, and I didn't see no blood, no bullets. I was like, no, you're good, like, you're okay. But he was already gone.
I was here by myself, and I kept thinking, like, right before that, like, I need to get some gas in my car, because I don't know, it was just this bad feeling I had. So I had to get up, jump in my car by myself. I called my sister. I got to the gas station, and these two young guys saw me in a panic, and they helped me pump my gas, and I went and picked up my friend. I had to can them.
I just know I started screaming. And my husband was like, what happened? What happened? I just couldn't talk, but he knew something bad. The way up, you know, when I heard my sister telling me that, my whole world crumbled.
I was at home. My brother called me about 2 o'clock in the morning. He told me, Alex is dead. I walked around the house. Asked him again, what did you say? He said, Alex was dead. And I sat on my bed for about 5 minutes and called my dad, called my cousin. Didn't want to wake my kids up. I'm a single dad. I got 2 boys that live with me. And they're like brothers. You know, they were like a year apart. Like I said earlier, they had the same birthday. That was like his older brother. My middle kid, Lennox, was 15, looked up to Alex. The bishop with the music, always working, taking care of his kids. They were over there every weekend since New Year's until that happened. And I didn't know how to tell them.
I think I got a phone call and I was at home. And I couldn't believe it at first. Cause it was like around the time when I had just lost somebody else close to me. So it was like I was just with him. Like, it's like a real surreal feeling, like to be with somebody and then, you know what I mean, they ain't here no more. So it's like, I took it a little bit hard. I took it real hard. I especially took it hard because like, we coming from Atlanta, I'm fighting for us to get back. I'm trying to make sure we be cool to get back. And it's like, maybe we was supposed to miss that trip coming back. And that's the question I live with to this day. Like, what if we would have missed that trip coming back? Would it have been different? Probably, who knows, you know, but that's a question I'm stuck with to this day. Like, what if we would have missed that flight?
I was home. I was home and I was with him and he told me that Yola had him up and said that Kodak died. And we didn't believe it, like we were still smiling. We didn't believe it until he called Nadi. And Nadi confirmed it.
I was at work. I work in the emergency room. I was at work and I got the phone call from my mother, and you fear getting calls at 2:30 in the morning if you live in Philadelphia, especially from moms. You fear getting a call like that. And my mom called me and I picked up the phone and I thought, just from hearing her voice and knowing what we just went through 6 months prior, I thought, well, something happened to somebody. And she couldn't get the words out, and then she just like blurted it out. Mataron a Alex. And that's Spanish for, they killed Alex. And after that, I kind of blanked out. One of my coworkers had to take me home. I still don't know who did. Thank you, whoever did, though. They had to take me home, and then family mobilized. I called my brother, and we all took a ride to the hospital. Yeah, I was at work. I was at work when I got the call. We couldn't. It was a strategic plan to not give him the news. He didn't get the news till the next day. I don't know. Nice. Maybe messed up, but he may have gotten the news via even social media, maybe. But that just goes to show you the relationship that they had. That we had to formulate a plan of how to give him the news, and we wanted to make sure that we was there with him. And because he's very hard to get a contact of, you know what I'm saying? He don't answer his phone or anything. We wanted to all make sure that we was there for him because we knew it would hit him way harder. Not to say that we didn't love my cousin, we love him to death, and I'd give my life to give his, but they was very much one and the same. That was like yin and yang right there.
I was home. I woke up probably like 7 o'clock in the morning, and a bunch of people that I knew that didn't know him were posting him on Instagram, and I'm like, this isn't right. Like, this is fake. I had a few people DM me and was like, yo, isn't this your cousin? And I'm like, yeah, but I don't think this is real. And then my mom she called me and she was blowing my phone up, telling me to call her at like 6:30 this morning. And eventually when I did call her, the first thing I said was, tell me it's not true. And the first thing that came out of her mouth was that they killed Alex. And I couldn't do nothing but just scream and let everything out. I didn't know what to do because that's like my best friend. And I couldn't believe it because it's like Alex, he was not the type of person to be in any kind of drama. So I don't understand why him.
I was at home, I was sleeping, and my friend, he calls me and he's like, hey, you heard what happened to Alex? Like your baby dad? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? He's like, go on Instagram. And I go on Instagram and my whole like timeline is just full of his pictures, like, damn, like, why you, like, rest in peace, like, fly high. Like his pictures had wings on them already. Mind you, I'm just getting up, it's like 8 in the morning, and I see a picture of my daughter's father with wings. That hit hard.
On March 11th, 2 men were arrested and charged with first-degree murder as well as weapons charges. They're currently awaiting trial and being held in Camden County Correctional Facility.
I believe that it's so much violence here because people believe that you have to be this person to be loved by people. It's so much pride and so many people just wanting to be that next person, you know, on Instagram. Rather if you're not even a rapper, some people just want to be that street nigga. Like, and it's just, I find it ridiculous. I've never been that person, but I mean, that's what's causing it.
It's misguided youth. I mean, these kids don't have nobody to guide them. They're being guided by what they see on TV, what they see on Instagram, which is not real life. Music has a big role to play in it because that is also a brainwashing tool that is used. You know, whether we like to believe it or not, it is a brainwashing tool, and it does make you change your mood and energy and vibration.
It's not enough love, or it's not enough genuine love, I want to say. It's just love. Your homies love you, but genuine love, it ain't that. You don't got that Kodak genuine love from people. It's Kodak coming. Kodak could come down from heaven right now if I was about to get killed, and he would try to take all the bullets from me, because Kodak. Hands down, it's Kodak.
I just think it's a lot of hate just going around, and it's not enough love being spread around. So this hate is overpopulating the city, and it's going to continue to go that way until people start to give out more love than hate. Until these streets are filled with a bunch of Alexes. Yeah, pretty much.
That's the shameful part.
And it's already been going there. So it's like I hope that it gets better. But I know I don't look forward on raising my kids in the city. Not here.
I mean, it's always been violence in Philly, but I feel like in 2020, with the pandemic hitting, and then PUA hitting at the same time, there's a lot of people with masks, there's a lot of people with money, there's a lot of people with guns, there's a lot of people with cars, there's a lot of violent people already. So you mix that all up in one pot, it's disaster. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it escalated faster and faster and faster. By January, New Year's, it's just crazy. You get what I'm saying? Then to top it off, there's a lot of drill music. So it's like the music is a big influence. Because everybody want to be a celebrity, everybody want to be a star. And if you're looking at the stars and the celebrities, and they're talking about this stuff, and half of them is really doing this stuff and putting it in songs, it's only but influence. So it just carries on. It's a ladder, you know, a little domino effect.
A lot of people scared to take a loss sometimes. Not only that, is they fear other people got it on them already, so they have to have one on them. Some people just shoot first, and as youth coming from Philadelphia is deep. Like, say coming from Philadelphia, like you got people that's gonna want to shoot you. They not gonna want to hand you a 1-on-1. So as far as a guy like me or something, or somebody else my color out here in these streets, or like in my race, my culture, we gotta stay loaded with one, cause in the streets, like everybody have one. You could say 95% of the streets have weapons. So it's either with a gun or a knife. Everybody in the street has weapons. You walk past somebody, you look at somebody a little type of way, well, probably you don't even be wrong. You dig me? They feel some type of way. Now they scheming on you, they plotting on you, gonna follow you. You bump somebody by accident, they're gonna swing at you. Come to a situation, your strength is bigger than their strength, and they're not able to take that, so they're pulling out, and they want to stab and shoot you out here. It's like it's all over the place, just by the way you look, your shoes, the way you dress. I mean, the way people love you, people will envy you out here. It's wicked out here. These streets is something different.
The hate, the envy, it's just everybody want to be top dog. Everyone want to be top stepper. What happened to everybody being humble and shit? Everybody said real gangsters move in silence, but nobody live by the code. People killing kids out here, people killing baby moms, all different types of stuff. Like, this shit crazy out here.
The clout that people get just off of being a bad person now is different. Back then, I was actually privy to some information growing up with how some people was back then, and it was different. Nobody wanted to do anything, and you pulled a camera phone out back then, you liable to get the shit smacked out of you. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody wants to put everything on the internet, and you get a certain type of clout, and people view you in a certain light because of that. So I think and to some that actually works. Some people get to the top by doing dumb shit like that, or by creating that type of fear. You can have people could fear you in your city, and that can actually get you to the top. That could also get you in a graveyard as well. But I think that just everyone chasing that image, I think that's why that's kind of why the city is the way that it is right now, in my opinion.
The violence in Philadelphia has to do with just the access to guns. The gun access is ridiculous. You see kids out here with guns, and nobody fights no more. Everything, is taken to the trigger. And it's like, if we don't regulate or just start putting kids away for having guns, and they're only going to do 3 or 4 years and come back out and get their hands on another gun, it's never going to end.
No, I think the system, I don't know if it's made for them to fail, but these kids have nowhere to go. They don't have any centers for kids. They don't have any sports, extracurricular, especially now during the pandemic. They're all stuck in houses. I mean, I've heard of stories of 13 and 14-year-olds building guns at home from places that allow them to buy gun parts, illegally. How does that happen in a society like today, where I'm an adult and I have to go get a license to get a gun? How does a kid go and get parts and buys parts out of some place and builds a gun with no numbers, no nothing? Like, how does that happen in this society where we're so advanced? Everything's technology. Like, how does that happen? I just think the laws have to change, and maybe, as they say, it takes a village. And I believe that.
To me, it's just the hatred. Like the pure hate that somebody got more than you, jealousy. Philly, it gets bad out here, and it's sad to say, you better off keeping it with you, because if you keep it without you, you can lose your life. So you feel me? You just gotta stay dangerous.
I'm a lot more aware of my surroundings. I have a license to carry, and before I used to leave it at home, now I carry, and I don't know if that's even a good thing. I don't even know if I'm contradicting myself, but I'm afraid, and this is not how it should be.
I feel like he's at peace, and we're still here at war. It was hard, like, you know, trying to understand, like, why me? Like, how could this happen to me out of all people? Like, I never would have expected this, but watching the news and stuff and seeing this happen to everybody, like, God putting people in my life that, you know, they lost the love of their life before too. And those are the people I've been, you know, with most of my days, like, trying to cope with everything. Alex didn't deserve what happened to him, but he also doesn't need to be here.
You're just left with so many questions, you know, and for so long I just kept thinking I wanted justice, just seeking justice. I want to know who's responsible. I want to know, you know, why this happened and who did it. And the day that came, it confused me even more, you know, to know that it was kids his age, you know, that it was also young men, 20, 21, who barely had lives themselves. It just made it all more infuriating because I couldn't even be as angry as I wanted to be with them. You know, I wanted to hate them so bad, and there's still a part of me that's like, these are kids the same age, you know, like, what could make somebody so violent? What did they go through? And it sucks that I have to be conditional that way because I really wish that I could just hate them, you know. And it's just hard. The hurt doesn't stop because it just comes in from all different angles.
On some real shit, I would just be like, bro, I miss you, dog. Like, I'm so sad that you're not here because it's like there's so much stuff that I want to tell you, like what I'm doing with my life, and you know, there's so much stuff that like you haven't seen, you haven't experienced, and you know, I really hope that you know, living it up there in heaven, and I hope that you're looking down on everybody that loves you, and you know, everybody that cares for you, because down here, like, we hurt, we real hurt, and you know, sometimes it gets better, sometimes it doesn't, so hopefully in time, you know, our hearts are gonna heal, but you know, I just wish the best for you, and I wish, you know, things could have been different, but I just want to say thank you for everything. Thank you, you know, for always being there for me. Thank you for always being a great friend when I needed it. Thank you for always, you know, giving me a shoulder to cry on. Thank you for having that fucking gas. Thank you for everything, honestly. Thank you for being you.
Why the hell didn't you call me, man? Why didn't you call me, man? That's all I had to say. I mean, because he knows what it is with me. I'd have kept it real with him. He would have called me at 2, 3 in the morning. Yo, cousin, I got a sale, or I got something I got to do, or whatever. Cousin, 2, 3 in the morning is not the time to be outside. Go back in the crib. Chill, relax. You got it tomorrow. The money's not going to go nowhere. That's what I would have told him if he would have called me personally. That's what I would have said. Because at that moment, he's got it made. There's no reason to take a risk. There's no reason to overstep the boundary. There's no reason to. You have it made right now. Like he was about to get signed. Like, he had a lot of things going for him. It's like, for a puny little couple dollars, you don't have to take a risk that deep, you know, in someone else's neighborhood, in someone else's woods. Like, you don't necessarily take that risk. That's something that I feel as though I could have prevented if he would have called me.
Hey man, rest in paradise, Kodak times. You know, he's gone, never forgotten. He ain't never gonna be forgotten in my studio, that's for sure. The first thing you see when you walk in towards my A room is his face. So,
I would tell him stay home. That's what I would tell him. Stay home.
This documentary is dedicated to the city of Philadelphia and all the inner cities across the United States. Please, put the guns down.
We fell in love and that shit hurt me to the core. Lately I've been feeling like the love we got is war. One foot is in love and then the other's out the door. Lately I've been feeling like the love we got is war. You tried to move on, you cannot move on. You tried to move on, but I held on. like you used to. You don't show up to my shows like you used to. Lately I've been feeling like I used to. It's like I used to love you, I used to.